To answer your question, yes, we are two adult women. And yes, we love Bieber, and that's why we're publicly stalking him.
We're crazy.
Hey! Maybe he's what America needs. One nation under beeps. We're gonna be two less lonely girls. We're gonna be two less lonely girls. We love Justin Bieber, and let us be clear, we're not being ironic at all.
Hosted by Corinne Fisher and Rosebud Baker.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to Two Less Lonely Girls. That's great. Oh, my God. You're already... Rosebud, you're fired. No, just kidding. Hi, guys. It's Corinne here. Rosebud is in Los Angeles because she wrote for the Comedy Central roast of Alec Baldwin, and she has to go see her insults be slung at his face. It's amazing to me that, and this is just Corinne talking, not Rosebud. It's amazing to me that Alec Baldwin hasn't been canceled because, I mean, he's just outright I mean, he basically, everyone knows that he hit Kim Basinger, and he also like really yelled at his daughter in that notorious phone message, the voicemail. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. He called her didn't he call her a pig or something?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, the only one person who's ever called me a pig is comedian Mike Racine. So shout out.
Okay, but wait, if she's doing stuff with the Baldwins, like, what are the chances Haley's there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Though Haley's dad is just, you know,
yeah, they're like outskirts.
He's
of
like
the
a
Baldwins,
clergyman,
or
no. I think we might like that part of the family more than Alec does because he doesn't bring, you know, he doesn't bring shame to us. Yeah, only to Alec.
Yeah.
Alec's an interesting guy, though. He's just one of those guys, kind of in like an R. Kelly way, in that like we all know he's up to no good, but we're just like, that's Alec.
Yeah,
that's Alec. Yeah.
It's embedded into what we know about him.
So anyway, my Rosebud and I decided because she's now bi-coastal, and I haven't had internet or cable in a week, which is almost the same thing as being bi-coastal. We're gonna have guest co-hosts for the next several weeks, and who better to do that than the members of future pop sensation Me Also.
Woohoo!
So this week we're starting with Olivia Vessel.
Hello.
This is great. I'm very excited. I felt I have a problem with strangers, so I felt like I know Linnea personally, but then I was like, let's just playing favorites. And so I know I work with your boyfriend who is a comedian, so I was like, that's kind of like knowing someone because at least I know who you tolerate.
It's a small community, so we can talk about the same people anyway.
Yeah, so we learned a little bit about you. Which spice were you?
Well, growing up, I always liked to be Sporty Spice.
Oh, okay.
I like the high pony.
You do have a high pony
now. I'm into that. But also, no one ever picked her.
Yeah.
And I was like, baby, I get it. Okay, she's cute, ginger, whatever. But like, no one ever wanted to be Sporty Spice. And I was like, Sporty, I stand by you.
That is true. No one did ever want to be Sporty. And after going to London to see them, she's now, besides Posh, my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, to this day, I'm like, I feel really proud of the fact that I saw that as a child.
You're a hero. You were 2019 before 2019 happened.
Exactly.
So that's great. Okay. And in Me Also, what kind of have you figured out your role? Because you guys have had one rehearsal. Me and Rosebud aren't there because we're...
You guys, I'm so excited about this group. It's really fun. We all just immediately were clicking, and we do all kind of have like our own little energy in the group.
Yeah.
I think my thing is I'm just overly excited about everything all the time.
I did notice that you came in with such a positive energy.
Oh, thanks.
So the fact that you date a stand-up comedian, I thought was very funny because we're, notoriously known for having like real poor, depressed attitudes.
Sure. Yeah. We can talk about that too, because I think I am lucky in that. Like, if I have friends who want to date stand-up comedians, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. They're generally a mess.
Yeah.
And I just feel really lucky that I happen to be dating the one comic who I feel like isn't like that. I mean, his jokes... He has jokes about like food and animals.
It's very funny that you say food because I walked into the showroom last night and he just had audience members shouting out food items.
Yes, that's his thing.
And I was like, did I walk into some kind of a preschool getting to know you exercise?
Yes. He likes to say he's the diner menu of comedians. He's got a little bit of everything and none of it's that good.
I didn't hear that last part, but that's great. It's good to know yourself.
Yeah, it's all food and animals. He goes around and he'll be like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite zoo animal? I mean, it's very different.
Oh my gosh.
He's like a well-adjusted adult who is silly. His jokes are silly.
Okay, I understand that now because you have definitely a silly energy as well.
Yeah, we're idiots together.
Now, when you started, was he a comedian when you started dating?
Yeah, it's kind of cool because we met like 5 years ago almost, and he was like doing open mics like a couple times a week, and he and I like write silly songs together and stuff, and we put sketches together. And
this is all making sense.
Yeah. I play ukulele, of course.
Right.
I got the like white girl ukulele vibe, the Zoe Deschanel glasses, and so we would just write silly songs together. And then, but it's been cool dating someone who, like, I can kind of zoom out. I only see his act like, once every couple months or so. I try not to see it too often. So it's cool to be able to track like the open mic to the show occasionally. And now he did like 520 shows last year.
Oh my gosh.
So it's really
wow.
cool to see. I mean, he basically like lives at this club called The Lantern. He like manages shows there and stuff. So but enough about him.
I know. I was like, I don't want to go. It's only just because I know. And then I also know that part of the reason, because I was talking to him last night, and he said that you guys actually on your first date discussed who we are going to be discussing today.
Yeah.
Because Rosebud and I had the concept, we'll introduce you one by one or possibly two by two for some of them to the members of Me also. And I wanted, every episode is kind of about one thing or idea or incident in pop culture that means a lot to you. And so when I emailed Olivia asking her, she said Weird Al Yankovic.
That's right.
Was who she wanted to discuss. And then she also did add that she knows that I don't respect him, which I want to say for the record. Okay. It's not that I don't like Weird Al at all. And this could be my issue. I fail to see, like, I know some people really love him like you, and actually famously Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, and actually I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, okay, so
like,
I used
there
to
would
work
be no
for
Hamilton without Weird Al.
I love this. Okay, so I used to work for Lin-Manuel Miranda. I was a junior talent manager and a talent manager's assistant at a place called Liebman Entertainment for 5 years before I went into comedy. Lin-Manuel Miranda, one of our most famous clients. I knew about Hamilton like years before it happened because he had been writing it and really like would not accept other auditions, and so I just knew that he was working on this thing, and he did a little one song from it for Barack Obama at one point, and it was just like we were just waiting, and then when tickets finally, when they started doing previews at Joe's at the Public, not Joe's Pub, the Public, I just remember telling my mom, like, because I had no money at that time, I was like, we gotta go. And the rule was always, if I let my mom come with me to shows, that she would pay for the tickets. And I thought that was a great deal because I do like my mom.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we have to go. This is going to be the hottest ticket in town. Like, we have to go. So I haven't even seen it on Broadway. I only saw it at the Public, which I thought was just like cool.
Yeah.
So yes. So Weird Al, you, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and you're going to convince me today. And I think if there's anyone who convinced you, it's you. You have a great energy.
Thank you. I feel very passionate about Weird Al. I mean, you asked me like what is there about pop culture, and I have to say, like, I don't really follow pop culture that much.
Okay.
I know faces really well, but I'm really bad at being like, oh yeah, this person was in this movie and this movie and this movie, and she's also worked with this person. I'm so bad at that. I just don't give a fuck.
So you can just be like Halle Berry, and then beyond that we don't know anything.
Or like in my brain I can like see the roles that I've seen her in. I know what I know her from, but in terms of discussing it, I'll be like, oh well, because she was also in that movie with that one person doing the, I'm just bad.
Oh, so you're like a dad at Christmas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. But so I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm an actress. I could like talk about like movies or actors or something that I'm interested in, but when it comes to music, I think that Weird Al is like, he gets a lot of respect from his like niche little group, but who is in Weird Al's niche little group? I don't know. He doesn't really have a nickname for his followers. there's not like the Beliebers.
Got it.
There isn't like
the Lovatics,
the Weird Al,
the Swifties.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I thought you meant there was like some kind of a collective of people who did parody songs.
I mean, maybe there is.
Yeah, because I'm trying to
sure
think
there
like
is.
who else does parody songs. I mean, at this point, like YouTube stars.
Yeah.
God, there has to be someone like.
I think
someone
Lonely
more famous.
Island is kind of
Okay,
they're kind
that's
of doing
great.
yeah, but it's but different than he does it.
Together, that boy group
Yeah.
Together. I don't know if you're too young to remember them.
No, I know about that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think yeah, in terms of like parody songs, they tend to be like one hit wonder kind of situations.
Yeah.
And Weird Al just amazes me, and I think he gets laughed at a lot. He's kind of like the Carrot Top of the music world.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
He's kind of like, people are like, oh yeah, no, sure, he's great, but he's like the shtick thing, or I just think he deserves so much more respect than he gets because he's so silly. Mm-hmm. But think about it. He started in like 76 when he was like 17 years old.
Oh, wow, I didn't know he was been around that long.
Yeah, I mean, he has like a 4-decade career in the music industry, and I can't think of any other artists who've been around that long. Like, okay, so like Michael Jackson, Madonna, yeah.
Weird Al.
Springsteen,
That's what I
yeah,
always
but it's
think.
like, and that's what it is, because like, not to mention that he doesn't have any like scandals. Like, what do you know about his personal life?
Yeah, you brought that point up, and I will agree on that, because as far as like having a real clean slate, but not being like, overly woke or precious about it, because there's some people who are like so clean and talk about how clean and amazing they are, and you like know those people have corpses in their closets.
Totally.
I don't believe that. Like that when George Takei had like some bullshit come out on him, I was like, you're so obnoxious online. Of course you did something bad. But for Weird Al, the one thing I do know about him is my comedy partner for Guys We Fucked and Sorry About Last Night, Christina Hutchinson. When we're making deals, she always tells me about how Weird Al was offered a really big, I believe it was for beer, a really big beer Super Bowl commercial. Yeah. And he turned it down, even though it was millions of dollars, because he was like, no, young kids listen to me, and that's not what I want to do. And we do use the Weird Al technique for us, because we don't promote like tobacco, alcohol. I
love that.
Or like cheap sex toy type stuff, or any weight loss pills, even though we will use all of those things ourselves.
Sure,
100%. But it's like we know
You're
these things
like
are bad.
Publicly endorse those things.
We have used every one of those things.
right.
I want to be clear about that. But we don't endorse that, because that's not the message that you want to have in people's ears.
Yeah.
And I'm a almost 34-year-old adult, so I know, like, I understand what my limits are. I understand things that I can handle. And if I had that shit in my ear when I was 16, I think I would still had a good sense of self, but who the hell knows?
Totally.
What addiction road I would have gone down.
Yeah, and I think like I can't think of any celebrity that doesn't have some kind of shit in their closet, And so for him to have been relevant for 40 years, and he doesn't, like, people don't really know about his life. People don't really know about his kids and his personal life and the shit that he's gone through. And he is vegetarian and he's Christian, but like no one knows. So and I feel like both.
I was like, so is Hitler. So.
Right. But like I feel like both vegetarians and Christians can get a bad rap for being like shoving it down your throat a little bit.
Yeah.
And people like don't know that about him, because again, he's going to try to stay family friendly, but not in an obnoxious way. It's just that like that's his brand, and he knows that that's what he needs to do to like maintain the following that he has, and to like make the people happy that he cares about. I think, I don't know.
Let me hit you with this. Maybe do we not know about anything in his life because no one cares?
That is totally valid. Might be true. But I don't know. But I think of the like weirdos that do care, though,
okay,
like if you do some digging, like we could start Googling right now, and we could try to dig up some dirt. Go for it. Start Googling.
Yeah.
Do we need a research break? No, just kidding.
Oh yes.
No, you start Googling. But I'll say the only thing, because I love him, so I've like looked into him and stuff before. But a lot of people don't know this about him, is that I think it was like back in the early 2000s. Both of his parents died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Like suddenly dropped dead one night. And like people don't even know that, and I feel like most celebrities, that would send them into a spiral.
Wait, how old was he when was he living with them?
I mean,
was he a
this
kid?
was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So he was like an adult.
He's an adult, but you feel like, oh my God, I'm like, I would be like, oh my God, I'm a multi-millionaire. Yeah. And I couldn't even like, my parents aren't even living in a home with a proper carbon monoxide detector.
Exactly. And it was like not, it's not like they had cancer and he had like time to prepare for it or anything. It was like completely sudden, both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And he found out like hours before a show.
And he did it?
And he did his fucking show.
Wow.
And I don't know of many people who'd be able to do that, especially considering his subject matter. And he has to be so over the top and wacky. I mean, he's like kicking his legs in the air and stuff, and he's fucking
like that's
ridiculous.
The one thing you notice. This guy, his parents died, still went on stage and kicked his legs in the air.
Literally kicking it. He is like,
so did he address it during that show? Is there video footage of that show?
No, he just, I mean, not that I know of. Yeah, I don't. Right. He just fucking did the show and made everyone laugh and just brought a big fucking smile to everyone's face. But what he says about it is that he's grateful that he is who he is and that he had the content that he has to turn to. Mm-hmm. He had just started a tour of like his biggest album at that point to date. And he finished the tour. And I think so many people quit tours for so much less. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because of the comedy. And this is kind of what I want to talk about like why I love him so much is because I think a theme for this podcast is definitely like how nice it is to be able to turn to like the fluff sometimes, and how you kind of need that, and you can't always be like trying to save the world and listening to the NPR podcast, and sometimes it's nice to turn on the fluff.
That is the point, and I'm so glad because people really do not see, like I think I make myself very clear in points I am trying to make or things I'm trying to, and like people will then read way more into it or way less into it or just sideways into it with both the podcasts I do, and that's exactly what it is. Like we started this obviously last year. I was personally dealing with every week the Me Too movement on Guys We Fucked, and it's funny to be like I was dealing with it because I feel very honestly like blessed to not have been raped, which is a sad statement to be a woman in 2019. But it was just so heavy. And we've like guilted ourselves into thinking that every moment, especially as like a white person who has like a pretty nice life, you just feel like you're walking around and you're like, I shouldn't be enjoying anything until everyone has a home and a job and is off drugs.
It's so easy to get caught up in all that stuff. And so I think that's why people love pop music, and that's why we love TV shows. That's why we binge shit. And and I think comedy is a huge part of that. And I think there's been such a huge comedy boom lately. Like, I mean, it's just everyone and their dog is a fucking comedian.
Yeah, it's accessible content. I think comedy is like, it's the art of the people, because it's not, I mean, there is certainly pretentious comedy, Nanette, but there's so many different types of comedy. You don't really need any money to make comedy.
Yeah, you don't have to rely on anything but yourself. Yeah, and I think that Weird Al anyway kind of did that for the music world when no one else was doing that. Music it's so, and like even pop songs, I think music takes itself way too seriously. Yeah. And Weird Al took nothing seriously, you know, and I think, but he takes that seriously almost, and he wants to just like brighten people's day. He just wants to be that silly, stupid thing that people can just tune into and zone out and laugh. And I think that's so powerful. And that he's been doing that for 40 years. And you go to his concerts. I've been to like 4 or 5.
I think I need to go now because like I think do you know anything about his childhood, like why he wanted to make people happy?
I don't know. I wonder actually if there was like some deep dark shit in his childhood or something, because a lot of comics do have something like that. But I know what I do know is that he, I guess like a traveling salesman came through his town selling accordions.
This is cute as fuck.
I know, this is the most Weird Al thing you've ever heard. And so his parents, I guess they could choose between piano or accordion, I guess. And his parents...
Wait, from the traveling salesman or just like in life?
From the traveling salesman. I guess he was coming through selling stuff, and he was also going to be teaching classes at the school or something.
Oh my God. Where is he?
Where is he?
Where is he from?
I feel like Midwest somewhere.
Downey, California.
Oh, no, I did know that. I did know that. Of course, he has a whole fucking song about it.
Yeah, every type of place exists in California.
Totally. But so I guess his parents chose the accordion because... what's the thing that they said? It's so funny. They said it was going to be like the next big thing in rock or something. That they had this vision that they were like, oh my gosh, this is like, no one else is doing this. Like, this is the next big thing.
So were they like a showbiz? Was it like a showbiz?
No,
Was like the John Benet Ramsey household?
I don't think so. I think they just wanted their son to like learn an instrument.
Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah, and they chose accordion probably because it was silly. Probably it made them laugh. Who knows? And so he studied it in school for a few years, and then he was like getting better than everyone else and decided to stop studying with anyone, and then just kind of self-taught by listening to rock bands and listening
and playing
to shit.
along because you can
he like
kind of
learned the whole Elton John album and like Yellow Brick, and he just
wow.
fucking learned it on the accordion, which that is impressive in and of itself because accordion
it's a complicated
is
instrument.
so complex. Yeah, it's like piano on crack.
Okay,
it's crazy
because I've never even attempted. I can play an instrument. I can play the violin. I can read music.
me too.
I tried the flute. I can't do anything wind. I get migraines.
Right.
But so I and you know, violin is certainly a difficult instrument to be really good at, and for some reason like the piano, like I can like play a little bit and then I can read music, but I have like my keys marked like a little baby. So I can't imagine like being able to do the rhythm of the in and out and then also the keys like a
and
piano.
there's so many buttons. I don't know. I've always wanted to learn the accordion. I feel like that's on brand for me.
I feel like you should.
I want to, but so my little brother is actually a professional trumpet player. He does jazz trumpet, and
cool.
I have a very musical family. But I told him a couple of years ago that I was interested in learning the accordion, and he was like, "Liv, that's so fucking stupid. Do you know how difficult that is?" He was like, "You might be good, but there's no fucking way in your 20s you're just gonna pick up the accordion." I was like, "All right, okay, music theory genius over here. All right."
But I don't understand what, like, I know some people, like, and I feel like, aren't there like different levels you could learn it at? You don't have to be extraordinary at everything.
There's lots of different kinds of little things. I could probably start with like a children's accordion without all the buttons, and it's basically just piano at that point.
Because they're heavy. Like a true accordion's heavy, right?
Yeah.
I've picked one up.
They're intense. And he dances around the stage. I mean, they were together as a band for a while, and then they got a keyboardist because he was like, oh, I want to be able to like focus on singing more and run around
Weird
the
Al.
stage. Yeah, when they
Okay.
like, became a band. So now they have like a keyboardist in their band.
Does
so
he have
that
the same people with him for the whole
Yeah.
duration?
Yeah.
So he's like Tim Burton, like really loyal.
Totally. It's really cool too to consider that, like, I mean, I don't know how interesting this is to other people, but it's definitely one of the reasons that I love Weird Al, because that band, if you think about it, they're playing the songs of like every single genre. They do Amish Paradise from Gangster's Paradise all the way to Like a Surgeon under Madonna's Like a Virgin. And then they do stuff in the style of 9 Inch Nails, which I don't know if you've heard that song, but
I haven't.
like,
Which one do they parody?
So this is one of his originals. He does a
so
lot
it's
of
in the style
originals.
of-
Yeah, but they do it in the style of bands. So he has this song called Germs.
Okay.
And it's like, I feel like if you're going to like a song by
That's
Weird
the
Al,
one.
that's the one. That's, I think, your entry point to Weird Al.
Okay.
You should listen to Germs. It's in the style of 9 Inch Nails. And it's like, they're all over me. Like, it's intense. It's really funny. It's fucking silly and stupid. And
So, okay, I'm
good.
glad we brought this up because, like, okay, so I think that's my problem. Weird Al is a person I've honestly only heard really positive things about. But for me, like, there's a lot of great people in the world, you know, who have done wonderful things. And that does not necessarily to me mean that you deserve fame and success. I think,
sure.
I think it's like, you know, hopefully, like, your destiny or your fate will turn out nicely. So I guess my issue, like, as an artist is that he is really known for parodying, and just I think it's like when I know how to do something, I'm not impressed by it. So I used to write parody songs a lot, and like my mom and I actually, like, for like school projects or stuff, we would always like write a parody song or like parody poems, like parodies of like The Night Before Christmas or How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Like that's like I would do that all the time.
Yeah.
So I think because it's something, and people would be impressed. Bless you, Alfie. People would be impressed, but I think it's because it's something that I can do that I don't find to be that difficult.
Right.
I think that's where my lack of respect
Well,
comes
yeah,
in.
and I think so this is how I'll debate that.
Okay.
So a lot of people, I mean, so many countless fans will send Weird Al ideas.
Uh-huh.
And I love his approach to this. He does not accept anyone's ideas for songs.
Right.
And this reminds me of a lot of comedians that I know where it's like if someone else has thought of it, even the idea of it, if there's anything else like that, then I'm not going to do that because if anyone else could think of it, then it's not me. So he will only come up with ideas that are his. And I think a lot of people write parody songs. A lot of people have done that.
Exactly.
But not only is he writing these parody songs, but his band is basically transcribing from ear. I mean, they just listen to the songs and then the songs are like perfect. Like when Weird Al songs start, you don't always know that it's him. Like you don't until he starts singing, and then you're like, oh, this isn't my Sharona, this is my Bologna, you know. So it's like,
that's what I always think. Yeah.
So it's cool to consider like the band actually has to be incredibly talented because they can do every other band's stuff. They've
perfected being a chameleon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's something that I think he earns a little bit of respect for in my book, that he's not just writing silly lyrics, that they are, and he'll do the music videos as well, almost shot for shot. And he like has directed a bunch of music videos for other artists. I mean, he's
do you have an
smart
example
about
of any
stuff.
of those?
Yeah, I think he does something for Ben Folds.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Yeah, and I think a lot of artists will like reach out to him, especially if they have like a funnier idea for a music video. They'll be like, oh, let's get Weird Al. So there's like a few of those that he's done. And he has so much respect from other musicians. Like the music world considers it a rite of passage when Weird Al parodies them. Like Kurt Cobain. When Weird Al did Smells Like Nirvana, the parody of Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana was like, holy shit, we've made it. Like Weird Al is covering us. Like this is it.
Because it's my goal has always been to be mentioned as a part Jew in Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song. Like I don't know what part we'll be in, but yeah, like
someday that'll be it.
That's always been like, oh, I'll know I've made it when I'm in Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song.
Totally.
So okay, I understand that, and that is cool. And I mean to play devil's advocate to myself, it's like a lot of people can write parody songs, but a lot of people can write regular songs too, but I don't like shit on regular music. I think I guess it's just because it's like, what is, like when you say like what is the Weird Al style, is the Weird Al style like, is there a like do you feel like there's a signature to his silliness that you can be like, oh, this feels Weird Al? Like I certainly know his look, has his aesthetic, his hair, his glasses, his shirts, I get that's really developed. But as far as like the difference between his comedy and another person's comedy, I guess maybe that's a question I have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know so much in terms of like the choices that he makes lyrically, but I will say just his staying power. Like again, most parody songs are like one-hit wonders, but the fact that he's been able to sustain that,
I think because they're evergreen. Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of like topical stuff. He just, like if he's talking about germs or Amish people, those are kind of evergreen concepts. They're not concepts that are. And I'm surprised though, because even with like Amish Paradise, he's never been hit with like people being offended.
With like PC stuff. Yeah, and I think it's because it's so silly that it's like almost obnoxious. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
I think a lot of comedians, I mean, and who knows, if he were to release that song today, people might have a fucking heyday with it. But
right.
But yeah, it's so obviously a joke that you would be an idiot to get offended by it. Whereas I think sometimes comedians get hit with stuff because it's like, no, I'm joking right now. Like I'm talking as if this is my opinion.
Yeah, he's not doing like like things about like abortion. Right. Yeah, they're lighter topics. Well, have you seen? Because I'm on his Wikipedia page. I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't. There's nothing. No scandals. There's no
scandally stuff.
There's misattribution and imitators. What is this? Okay, so a screenshot of LimeWire Pro. God, LimeWire. That takes me back. Showing a large number of parodies misattributed to Yankovic. And it's Yankovic, not Yankovic.
It's Yankovic, yeah.
Right, okay, because I know people say
Yankovic as a kid,
wrong, as well as numerous misspellings. Oh, yeah, often his surname is misspelled and thus mispronounced Yankovic, among other variations. Much to the disdain of Yankovic, these misattributed files included songs that are racist, sexually explicit, or otherwise offensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's very open about saying that every single song that he's written is out. Like he doesn't have like a vault of, he's not going to be Prince, or he's not going to have like a vault of
We're not going to find a lot of
work.
stuff when he dies from carbon monoxide poisoning.
No, because he follows through. He has an idea and he does it and he releases it. And he's actually, this is another thing that I think is something that I really respect him for as like a business person. So it's like funny to talk so seriously about him because he's so silly. But he, when I forget which album it was, but he started releasing a bunch of songs just on YouTube, and he would film these music videos and just get them out because he was like, in today's age, you can't like wait to get the whole album complete because by the time you release it, it's not fucking relevant anymore.
That is so important for song parodies. You have to be like, you have to do it the next day.
Yes, exactly. And you have to be like the first thing up there. So he got fucking smart with it, and he got in touch with like College Humor and Funny or Die. I think like a bunch of the different like comedy video sites that there are. And he did this whole thing where he released an album. It was like a new music video every day for a week.
Wow.
And he did it with a lot of different platforms, so that because he didn't want the weight of it to kind of be on any one person's shoulders or any one entity's shoulders. So he spread it out, and it was so fucking smart because then everyone was talking about it for a full week, and every time like a new thing was coming out. And he just did all of these like internet releases, and then eventually put them on an album.
Sure.
But he was like, honestly, like he got so much success from that. That was his biggest thing. That he was like, this is the wave of the future. And he was like, he also produces things on his own. I think he has his own label because
that would make sense.
A while ago, he got sick of that, and he was like, I want to do this my own way. And so he's smart in that way, that he's like controlling his own stuff, and he's in charge of the things that are being put out online, and he's like marketing in a really smart way.
Yeah, he's in control of his own. Have you watched his TV show or the movie? Because it said he wrote and starred in the film UHF. What does that even stand for?
What does it stand for? It's supposed to stand for the like radio waves. I don't remember what it stands for.
Released internationally as the Vidiot from UHF.
UHF is the funniest fucking movie ever. I grew up watching that probably like once a week. My brothers and I would go to the video store and we would get that all the time. It's so
Fran Drescher is in it.
Yeah. And Michael Richards.
Okay.
Plays the janitor of the... So what happens
and Emo Phillips.
And Emo Phillips, who's like good friends with Weird Al. And actually we've seen him... He like tours with Weird Al and kind of opens for him and stuff.
If you guys are not familiar, Emo Phillips is kind of an iconic alternative comedian who you might know if you see him or if you do a quick Google. But anyone in comedy definitely should know who Emo Phillips is, and that makes sense. Knowing that they are friends, if I had a list of comedians, I'd be like, of course Weird Al is friends with Emo Phillips. That makes a lot of sense.
It's a funny movie plot. He's just this guy who's like he's like the straight man in the movie, but he's a
Weird
dreamer.
Al is?
Yeah, Weird Al is.
Okay.
And he's a dreamer, and he can't keep a job, and he's just always his mind is always going different places. So it's Weird Al
playing himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's cool because the plot of the movie, because he's such a dreamer, then he has all these different things that he's imagining where he's, so then they parody Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Where he's like trying to steal the thing, and the big rock is chasing him, and it's silly. So he uses that as a way through this character's imagination to parody other movie plots. But
there he goes again.
Yeah.
At least he's on brand.
Yeah. So then this character, he ends up owning a small television station, and it's like against all odds that it becomes the hottest thing.
So it's a little Wayne's Worldy vibe.
Okay. It's super.
But it came out before Wayne's World.
Yeah, and he does all this television programming, which is just fucking ridiculous. And then that allows them to do basically a bunch of different sketches of different television programs.
Okay.
They have like the Wheel of Fish, where they have this guy who used to live above Weird Al's character, the like Taekwondo instructor, who's like, it's so fucking stupid, but they like spin the Wheel of Fish and he's like, oh, red snapper, like it's fucking stupid. And so he does a lot of different sketches in there. It's a funny movie.
Yeah,
if you like Weird Al and you haven't seen this movie, fucking watch it.
It's an hour and a half. It
It's
came out in
iconic.
1989. The budget was $5 million. It made $6.1 million. Not bad. So Yankovic stars as George Newman, a shiftless streamer who stumbles into managing a low-budget television station and surprisingly finds success with his eclectic programming choices, in part spearheaded by the antics of a janitor turned children's
That's Michael
television
Richards.
host.
Yeah, that's Michael Richards.
Stanley Spadowski.
Yeah.
He provokes the ire of a major network station that dislikes the competitive upstart. The title refers to ultra-high frequency analog television broadcasting band on which such low-budget television stations often were placed in the United States. Okay, that's cool.
It's cool and it's silly, and it didn't have like great reviews when it first came out.
It said mixed,
as you would
yeah.
think. Yeah, but since then it's like a cult classic. It's similar to like Rocky Horror Picture Show or one of those cult
The
classics.
Room.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny, and Fran Drescher plays a newscaster on his radio station, which is funny because her
love
voice is
Fran.
so like, newscaster voices have to be so
It's so beautiful. Like so
Yeah.
beautiful, so smooth, so clean, and she's
and they hired her basically because they thought it'd be funny to
have.
have her voice being the newscaster.
I love Fran.
And the cameraman is played by what's his name, Billy Barty, I think.
Okay.
Who's a little person, and you'd recognize him. He's like the little person in a bunch of movies. But it's funny because he's the cameraman, so she's like looking down. Into I mean, it's like so silly in so many different ways.
Yeah, like kind of like against all odds, like let's make all the wrong choices and still make it work.
Yeah.
Oh, and he was on an episode of Scooby-Doo. That's cool.
He more than anyone that I can think of has been in like every TV show. He was on The Simpsons. He wrote a song for Homer and Marge.
Oh.
He's been referenced in any show. Like, I'm sure there's an episode of Friends where they reference him.
Because there is no one like him. Everyone knows him. And
yeah, like even if you don't listen to him and you don't really know his stuff, you know
him.
who he is.
Yeah, you know him. You can recognize him by looking at him.
Yeah.
So, and I was wondering because it looked like he hadn't released an album since 2014, but he's doing a Strings Attached tour 2019,
which I saw. It's amazing.
Oh, you already saw it?
Oh, hell
was
yeah.
it in New York?
Yeah, I went to Forest Hill Stadium up in Queens. It's
so
really
he's still
cool.
he's still selling out stadiums.
Yeah, and he's 60 years old. He's turning 60 at the end of October.
Yeah.
And he literally still kicks his leg above his fucking head. I mean, he is running around that stage,
He's a tall
jumping
guy.
around. He's just, you wouldn't know how old he is because he's.
Okay, I feel like
hilarious.
I do want to see a concert of his.
I will take you.
I mean, yeah. So 1976 he starts. I mean, I'm looking at his discography.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was born in 1985. The first thing that on his discography that I recognize is 1999's Running with Scissors.
Totally. That was my first one as well. That was
Okay.
my introduction to it. I have a couple brothers and they were obsessed with him, and I grew up.
I feel like it's great for a brother sister like bonding.
Totally. My whole childhood was like impressing my older brother who like bullied me as a kid. He was like, "Oh, Liv, you're so stupid," So when he liked Weird Al, I was like, "Great, I will listen to Weird Al. And I
Okay.
will impress the hell." So Running with Scissors, and honestly, I think this is why Joe and I are together, my boyfriend and I. So
Yeah.
Running with Scissors comes out. My brother is obsessed with it. We listen to it on the way to school every single day,
Aw, I
and
love that.
and the end of that album, there is a song called Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. It's 11 and a half minutes long, and it's a story song.
Okay.
And it's just fucking ridiculous. There's like hardly any singing in it.
Is it about Albuquerque, New Mexico? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a fucking story song. And I memorized the whole thing.
Wow.
Because I was like, I mean, again, this is like me as a child being like the most fangirl I've ever been, where I memorized that entire album.
What like they're impressing your like an older brother or sister
Yeah.
is on such a next level. I think it even surpasses doing something to impress like a romantic a
totally.
possible romantic partner.
Yeah, I think so. It was almost like a father figure kind of a thing,
Yeah.
too, of just like, I need his approval.
His respect, his approval. Yeah.
And I memorized that whole album. But then also I loved it myself, so it was, I wouldn't have done it. Like, he played video games too. I didn't ever try to play the video games with him.
You're like, finally, he likes something that's tolerable.
Exactly.
Let me do this.
So I memorized Albuquerque, and on all these years later, on my second date with my current boyfriend, Weird Al came up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I memorized Albuquerque," and he was like, "No way, girls don't like Weird Al."
What, Joe?
And so I know, so I just like started singing it, And he was like, okay, you can stop. I get it. Don't do the
3
whole
minutes
lesson.
in, he was like, I'm begging you.
Yeah. And I think that was like it. He was just like, oh shit. Like, this is a girl who likes Weird Al. When do you find that?
Yeah.
So, yeah. We've gone to 3 or 4 Weird Al concerts together. The Strings Attached tour was really cool because he did a bunch of songs that he doesn't normally do in concert because he did them with like symphonies. He did them with like a symphony orchestra. So he has a bunch of songs that sound really great on the CD, but he just doesn't normally do them in concert because it's hard to replicate them.
And is he doing one night at Forest Hill Stadium? Could he sell it multiple nights? What's his appeal like?
I think he did a couple nights.
I want to see how many, unless you know off the top of your heads, I want to see how many Forest Hill seats. I'm always curious to that.
He's fucking huge. And like, what's cool too is that in the audience, it's like kids 5 to 85, you know,
because it's a good thing like for a parent, like to nostalgia, to be like, oh, my kid doesn't know what this is, and I'm not going to take him to like a Bruce Springsteen concert because they're not going to get it, but I can take him to a Weird Al.
And it's cool.
That's 14,000 seats in Forest Hill Stadium,
and it was packed.
Yeah,
everyone's in Hawaiian shirts.
Okay. like a big it looks like a Trader Joe's convention.
Totally.
Okay, cool.
It was cool. And every other time that I've seen him, we saw him in what the fuck? What's the fucking King's Theater in Brooklyn?
Oh, I saw Garbage there. That's a beautiful theater.
That's a beautiful theater. We saw him there. That was when he did a tour last year that was just originals. It was only originals.
That's why less people came. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. It was.
I didn't even know he did that.
Good. It was crazy, and he rarely does things like Albuquerque live because it is 11 and a half minutes.
It's a big chunk of the show.
Yeah. But so we were like, okay, originals, like, I hope he does Albuquerque. And he starts this intro to a song and he's like, okay, like, I don't normally do this one. It's a long story song. Some of you might know it. And then he starts singing a different fucking song that's 9.5 minutes. It's like a newer one about being on a bus. And Joe and I, my boyfriend and I, we were like, all right, well, you know, maybe next time. And then we were like, if he's doing this long song, like that's
he's not going to do another one.
And then immediately after that song, he did Albuquerque.
What
and the drums fucking started.
Choice.
I know. And the whole crowd, you could tell the whole crowd was feeling the way that we were.
Yes, he did it on purpose. He manipulated you. He's okay. That makes me feel like he's a true artist.
We cried.
Did you hold hands?
Oh yeah. We were like swaying.
Now I was like to all these
standing
songs.
behind me, hands on my hips. You know, we were fucking in
oh
the music.
My god,
it was beautiful.
Wow,
we quote that song so much.
Now I feel like I have to like listen to all these songs now. Is he on Spotify?
Yeah, he is. Start with Germs.
Oh god,
I feel like you'll get it.
Oh my god.
And then
all right. Well, I'll do some of my own time. Maybe we can insert a little bit in there because I don't want to ruin it for you if I don't like it. I understand. I feel like I rain on people's parades.
Like I get it if you know, it's not for everyone. It is really silly.
That's the thing. I have a problem with silliness, like because it's all. I mean, there's multiple reasons. Like, my brother's a little more silly than me, but I can get silly with my brother. And I would say like silliness. Like I have come from a family that where like we love comedy. Comedy is very accepted, but like we're not. Especially my mom is really like not into silliness. It's like frowned upon, and so. I guess there is a part of me that thinks of like silliness as like a lesser comedy when in reality
I can see that.
When in reality I don't think that's, you know, being in comedy so long now, I don't think that's true at all. I think that silliness is this really beautiful thing that so many adults lose. And so if you're able to be silly but then I think it's like so few people are able to be silly on stage and then be a functioning human being in their real life.
And not like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
a lot of people who are silly are like immature or annoying
exactly. Or you can't turn it off. Even like you know God rest his soul, but like a Robin Williams, I couldn't.
Exhausting.
I can't be around people like that because I always feel a bit left out in comedy in a good way, just because like I'm a real functioning adult. Like I truly am. I have my shit together, and I appreciate Weird Al because it's like it seems that he just really likes to make people laugh and have a good time, and that there's no like it's not like he was slapped in the face repeatedly and he had to run away from that.
He like has a family. He's a normal guy.
He has one daughter. Is that?
I think he. Maybe just one daughter.
It said one. A couple. It said Nina is his daughter. And then, do you know anything about his relationship, like his marriage?
Just that it's good, and that I haven't heard about it.
That's
know,
true.
like it's
Suzanne. They married in
Suzanne.
2001, but after being introduced by a mutual friend, Bill.
It's just like the most
Mooney.
normal thing.
Okay.
And yeah, and he doesn't, you know, he doesn't like do interviews where he talks about his family and stuff, you know. And in interviews, I kind of wish that he talked about himself more and like opened up. But he's so silly that he's like, no, this is my public persona. And I think it's a bit of a wall where he wants to be a normal person and he wants to have his own life. And, you know, he's like, I'm Weird Al now. And then he can go home and like be Alfred. Yeah, I think so. And I mean, well, and I think what you're talking about, like with the silliness, like, but I think that for you was pop. Mm-hmm. And that for you was like the Spice Girls. That was like your way of doing that. Where for me, like that for me was Weird Al. And I had like so I kind of mentioned this a little bit in the auditions for me also. But when I was 12, I was like hit by this train. It was this whole thing.
Okay. I would imagine
died.
It
was a real thing. Yeah. There were like these overground trains in Salt Lake where I grew up, and it ran its red light.
Oh, you're
from my car.
Oh, I got to talk to you off air about something.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Great.
But yes, so it was like tough. I was 12. I was the summer before 7th grade.
Shit.
And I had like scars on my face. I mean, my face was like shattered. My nose was completely
What
shattered.
happened though? So there was above ground trains where you like playing and you just didn't.
No. So I was in a car. We were driving. The train ran its fucking red light.
Oh my God.
And like 4 cars had passed through the intersection in front of us. So and we were T-boned, and it just hit exactly where I was sitting.
Shit.
And
you were with your family?
My little brother was in the car in front of me, and he got like a scratch on his neck from the seatbelt.
Fuck.
And my mom like went down on the steering wheel and had like black eyes and like a bump on her forehead.
Okay.
And she had like some spinal stuff a few years later that had to be taken, like a herniated disc.
Okay.
So that was a big deal a few years later, but then it just hit exactly where I was sitting, and the door like caved into me, and I went down on it like with the whiplash. So my face went down onto the shattered window.
Holy shit.
So like my nose was shattered, and I wear makeup. You can't really see it. It's been like 15 years since then, but I have scars all up and down the right side of my face.
Oh my God.
And like my eyebrow, I have to draw it in because it like half my eyebrow doesn't grow in. I like could have been blinded. It was like really fucking close. I was
gonna say,
eye.
that's crazy. I mean, wow, that's crazy that you're alive.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And I don't remember any of it because our brains are amazing.
I was gonna ask you, like, do you remember the moment or the feeling? No. It's just like it's just like blackout.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember like everything up to that point that day, and then just waking up in the hospital, and it was a weird sensation because I was like. It was like I knew what had happened to me physically. Like my body knew what had happened to it.
You knew that you got hit by a... Or you knew that something really traumatic happened to your body?
Yeah, like I wasn't surprised to be waking up in a hospital because I was like, something fucking happened to my body.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, Mom, like what? Like what were the facts of the thing that got me? It was like I knew it. My body knew it.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the memory of it. Shit. So, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That's probably good that you don't, because I would imagine that'd be like a lot of PTSD that you would be experiencing if you had this like kind of vision of a train.
I feel fucking lucky. Honestly, like I wish I could like trade places with either my mom or my brother, because they have the memory of like looking back at me and thinking that they just watched me die.
Shit. Yeah.
So like, and my little brother was 8 years old at the time. Like that's fucking intense.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that did to his psyche. But you know, then I had years of. It would be funny. My friends at school would be worried about like boys and acne. And I'd be like, okay, well, I have a meeting with my plastic surgeon and my lawyer after school. So, you know.
I hope you said it like that.
Obviously.
Yeah, no. I got to go to the plastic surgeon and my lawyer. Maybe you know a little bit about train law.
Sorry.
So are you like, are trains triggering for you?
For a while, I was like, fuck this. I'm never getting on a train ever.
Yeah, but you could live a perfectly fine life and never get on a train again, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's I fucking live on the MTA now,
right?
You know, and it's been a while since then. And
okay,
it's fine, but I think like in that time, what I remember most about like being in the hospital and like healing and stuff is laughing with my family.
That's what you got you through it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Weird Al was like a huge gateway to that, and just being able to like turn on a Weird Al album and just like listen to that on the way to school. I'm not worried about the boys or the acne or the scars or like the fact that my arm is in a sling and I have to like wear a big floppy hat to protect my face from the sun so I don't burn my scars and like all this kind of shit that like no one entering 7th grade, which is already like the toughest fucking year.
Exactly.
For a kid.
I mean, 7th grade is one of the years I remember most, just because it's like when you know, my friend group split, you know, between the girls who cared about being popular and the girls who were just kind of like doing our own thing.
Yeah. Oh, and then the girls
boys.
who like care about not being popular, the ones who like go the other direction and they're like,
full
fuck
craft.
that. Like, ooh, you're
me.
like preppy now.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't like mean about it, but yeah, I was just like, whatever everyone's doing, I'm doing the opposite.
Right.
So I guess I'll wear my shirt not inside out, because that's the way shirts are supposed to be worn, guys.
I think for me, that was comedy, because I was just like, the fact that I could just be silly and not care about anything else and just... And I think a lot of comics have something in their past where a lot of people who drift towards the comedy arena have something in their past where they, you know, they like need the comedy.
Right.
And I think that, I mean, yeah, it really got me through that time, and having something that, I mean, also since then, my older brother, who used to tease me all the time. Yeah. That really snapped him into shape.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, oh shit, I almost lost her.
Maybe I should be nicer to...
He's been real nice to me since then.
Wow.
All you need is a near-death experience.
Yeah, all you need is a train to just T-bone your car.
Exactly. But then it was nice, because then Weird Al was like a thing we could do together. And it wasn't, I didn't feel the need to like impress him anymore. And then we could like laugh together. And my little brother and I, we grew up doing theater together, and we were in the same like children's dance theater together. Oh my God, and so he and I, when we get together, we are so fucking silly. He makes me laugh harder than anyone. We just like giggle the whole time, and we like play hide and go seek in Costco's, and you know what I mean? Like we're fucking stupid together. We act like children. And I think it's really, really important for adults to be able to tap into that, like what you were saying, you know? And I think it's important, especially for adults who like have their shit together and can like run their own business and are fucking mature and can take care of shit, to be able to tap into that silliness.
It is, because it's being an adult is overwhelming. No one teaches you how to do it. Yeah. All of a sudden you're just getting like I mean, I like purchased a home, and the fact that someone gave me a home is wild to me. You know, it's truly wild. I mean, I'm asking questions like, okay, now how much money has to be in this bank account, and how will I know when to pay this mortgage? Right, you know? Right. And it seems, and it's great because you realize just everyone is just kind of like trying to get through it, because like no matter how stupid of a question I've asked, no one's responded like that's crazy. And half the time I was right in asking because like people forgot to tell me things.
A lot of people aren't good at asking stuff too. A lot of people are like, I'm an adult, I don't need to ask, and it's hard for them to do that.
I find I'm confident in the level of intelligence I have. Like, I'm not an idiot. I'm smarter than the average person. However, you know, if I could choose anything to be, like I always say, I would choose to be smarter or funnier, never prettier. It's like, honestly, like I think I'm like, yeah, pretty enough, you know. Right. Those other things would help me more, but it's just really funny.
Oh well, especially with comedy, with girls who are funny, I feel like people are always like, well, she must not be cute, like that's the stigma, where it's like she was fat as a kid or something. And I feel like that was a thing for me. I had all these scars on my face, I was dealing with all this shit, and so I was like, okay, but watch this, guys.
Oh, because you didn't have, because it's so funny that you say that and that you felt that way, because well, number one, I love to tease your boyfriend. I'm like, oh wow, if I was a male comedian, I would just have a hot girlfriend. Right. Because every male comedian has like the hottest girlfriend, and it's so irritating to me. But when you walk in, because it's like, not only are you're very pretty, but you're also like a really good singer.
Thank
and you're
you.
good at dancing. And so I think oftentimes people go, well, if they can do that, like if they can quote like act normal, like why would you bother being funny? Right. When I think being funny is the hardest of those things and the coolest.
Absolutely.
And it's the one profession where you have to be even more talented if you're attractive, because you're working against that.
Yeah. And I genuinely feel lucky that I had this horrible accident happen in my life, because for a long time I wasn't a pretty girl.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what that feels like, because it's like it's weird. You do need to tap into that. And I think like we talk about race, we talk about gender, we talk about financial status. We don't often talk about going through life as an attractive or unattractive person. And it's a concept I'm obsessed with.
Shit. It totally does. It's very interesting. And I think like, people my whole life have been like, oh, I can't even see the scars. And I'm like, but that's almost like worse, because it's like, well, I am scarred.
Right.
So I want you to see my scars and think I'm beautiful. Like, not like, oh, I can't even see the scars, or like, I see the scars, but you're still beautiful.
Right.
It should be like, no, I see your scars and I love your scars and they're beautiful and they make you
yeah.
And, yeah. So that's been a big thing for me my whole life. And I've always felt a need to like, I had like decided I wanted to be an actress the summer I was hit by this fucking train.
So right before?
Yeah, I was like in
interesting.
a summer theater camp, and I was like, this is it. I love this. And I was cast in like a melodrama as like the young girl. My first line was, "But mother, I can't help it if all boys fall in love with me at first sight." Like, I was cast as like that fucking girl.
Perfect.
And then I was hit by a train and my face was shattered. And I was like, oh, and I had this moment in the hospital bed where I was like, okay, I cannot do film then.
Okay.
Like, I was like, okay, I'm just resigned to this. Theater's going to be my thing. Fuck everyone who tells me I can't be an actress. I'm still going to do this. And then I started leaning hard into comedy. And I was like, I'm just going to be like an entertaining person. I'm going to make everyone's day happy. I'm going to be the hardest worker. Because I was like, if I don't have this to rely on, my looks or whatever that thing is, I can't be the pretty girl, then I'm just going to have everything else going for me. So I'm undeniable. And then lucky for me, my scars have faded a lot.
Yeah.
And for anyone who thinks that I'm pretty, I'm like, fucking thank you. That's so nice. Because my whole life, that wasn't my focus at all.
But and that's what makes you such a captivating person when you walk into a room.
You.
Because I think, like, it's so interesting. There's like a vibe that a pretty person, has when they walk into a room, and it's not necessarily like conceited. There's just an energy, and it's like when you walk into a room, it's like we have eyes so we can see, but you are bringing so much more. So it's not like the most noticeable thing about you, which I think is like great.
That's cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
I would like for it to be like, oh, and she's cute, or like,
yeah,
they're like,
I always tell people, I when people like are trashing me on Reddit, I go, oh, you're lucky that I'm even like a 7. I mean, come on,
right.
I didn't even need to put lipstick on today. You should be appreciative.
Absolutely.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And I think, and for me, like, Weird Al was such a huge part of that, where I could like tap into that silliness. And now, so like Joe and I together, since he's like a comedian and a writer and an editor, and I have this background in like acting and dancing and singing.
Yeah, you guys are a two-person show over there. You have the whole thing going on.
It's ridiculous. So we have like our whole living room is a green screen. We've got camera lights and sound and everything. And we've been producing these like silly sketches, and we wrote these. I have this character that I used to do all the time in stand-up shows. I do it every now and then. It's called Olivia's Corner, which is like, I'm like a children's TV show host. It's very Pee Wee Herman, big comfy couch.
I love this.
And I like dress up in a clown suit, and I have my ukulele.
But is it truly happy, or is it like Death to Smoochie? Because I love a Death to Smoochie.
It's a little Death to Smoochie.
Okay,
so
that's
I have
like my fave.
It's like kids could listen to it. Like I was a nanny the whole first year that I lived in New York.
Okay,
and they loved these songs.
There's like layers to it. Like it's like a kid could appreciate it, but an adult is going to be like, whoa.
Yeah, it's so like we have songs that are if kids don't. If it's not for kids, it's because they just won't get it.
Right.
Like we have a song that's called "You Can't Get a Job with a Face Tattoo."
This is coming so full circle, because literally the reason I wanted to talk to you was about concerning a man with a face tattoo from Salt Lake City.
Oh, that's
how serendipitous! How serendipitous is that?
That's
and he
hilarious.
Can't get a job. That's why he's a comedian.
Dude, yeah,
that's so funny.
And it's not like for or against tattoos. It's just like if you have a face tattoo,
it's gonna
good
be
luck.
Yeah, no, and he will agree with you. I'm always like, you need to buy stock in Kat Von D's tattoo concealer because this ain't gonna work for you, buddy.
Yeah, our songs are like for kids but for adults. So it's like we have an ABC song called D is for Divorce.
Oh my god,
and,
I want to watch all these.
And like a song that's like dealing with bullies, where I get hard with the kids, and my advice is like, well, yeah, everyone's going to tell you to tell someone, like, talk to your teacher or something, but my advice is just punch them in the face.
Yeah,
just like fucking one punch.
Yeah, and then they'll stop messing with you.
Yeah. So it's silly. It's like for kids, but it's for adults. So I do it in stand-up shows every now and then, and it's cool that like my boyfriend and I connected on this Weird Al thing. And then that's kind of what we've ended up doing. And honestly, like if I was doing that the rest of my life, I'd be so fucking happy if we just had our own production company and we're just
And it's a great
the
time to do
musical
that
comedy.
because you can make the content.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and especially if you have that set up in your living room, that's so great.
It's
This has
fun,
come
it's silly.
beautifully full circle. I am honestly, like you said, you don't have a podcast, and there are so many people with podcasts who are really bad at it, and you're very, very good at it. This was a true joy. We went to an hour. I didn't even care. I was looking at the time.
Shit.
I was like, this is great. Feels like a produced in the best way episode of Serial. So as you know, we end the show the same way every week. What is making you feel less lonely this week?
I think me also.
Yeah?
My new girl band.
That makes me so happy.
We had one girl who wasn't able to come to rehearsal last time, and she DM'd me on Instagram.
Oh, yay,
and I was
Aaliyah.
like, yeah, and I was like, I'll meet up with you. Like, I'll go over what we went over. We can get together if you want.
Did you get together yet?
We haven't yet, but we're planning it. and
Oh,
stuff.
because
And
she's the
just-
baby of the group, Aaliyah. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's kind of the one out of all of us, I think, who has the least background in performance or acting or something like that.
She's the least polished, and I say that with love because we all notice that just because me and Rosebud are early into our 30s. I don't know,
Right.
Rosebud. Sorry, I'm very open about my age, not trying to ruin anyone else's career. But we walked in and we're like, oh my god, like if someone can kind of just like harness this comet
Yes.
from the sky, she's gonna be like this beautiful
She's
entertainer.
like the girl discovered doing karaoke.
Yes. It's very like
Yeah.
Mariah, glitter. Yeah, I
Totally.
feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes me so happy because the joy that I experienced going to London to see the Spice Girls, I was like, that was what I had been missing from my life. And even then starting this podcast, getting into Bieber again, you see my Justin Bieber books in my bookcase, my Andy
Fantastic.
Warhol. I'm very into like just Americana culture, my Spice Girls candles. And so what's making me less lonely this week is actually I moved. So this has been the first week in my new apartment. The move went terribly. That's okay though, because I tend not to appreciate things if I don't have to like almost die, mentally, emotionally getting them. So I think it's all going to work out. All my possessions are in here. My dog's in here. Me and my dog are in here. That's all really that matters. And I get really stressed out. So I started taking baths because like in New York City, you really rarely have a nice bathtub.
bath.
And my bathtub, I didn't notice this when I was looking at the place. It's deep. It's really deep. It's the kind where like I'm 5'3.5".
Oh, it wasn't even like a selling point for you. You just discovered it?
No, I mean, because I haven't
my
taken a bath
God.
in years.
Yeah, I can't even fucking imagine.
And I was like, I was like covered in mosquito bites because it's very overgrown outside, and I didn't even know that you could get like that mosquitoes lurked in New York City, but apparently they do. And so I was so stressed out. My body is completely bruised because I'm one of those people who like picks up a box. Like I'm strong, but my whole body, like you can see the marks on it. And so I took a bath like every night for 3 nights in a row. And I sang like that Simon song from the Mike Myers character from SNL. Like I really went in hard. And I haven't had, and also it's because I haven't had TV or internet. So I'm just like thinking of like,
God.
I'm like, what did people do in olden times? And so I went to just Dwayne Reed on the corner. I got this big thing of like Mr. Bubble, and I just took like 3 baths in a row. I lit candles because I always like see these things on Instagram of people who live these like bath lifestyles where they're putting those like boards, the bath caddy trays over it. And I'm like, who the fuck owns a bath caddy?
that to me is like you've made it. Like
Yeah.
you've made it when you can climb into a New York City tub
Right?
and not feel scared for your health.
Yeah, and I was like blown away. I was like, these baths have really been like making a difference. I look forward to them. I'm still doing work. I've eaten like full meals, like bowls of soup in it. Alfred
Congratulations.
comes in, and I was just like, this is the kind of stuff that I like forget. Someone asked me yesterday, like, what are your hobbies besides comedy? And for like 15 minutes I was hemming and hawing because I really didn't have an answer. Yeah. And I have a lot of interests, but I'm like, what the fuck do? I go to conventions. I like horror. I go to like a lot of festivals and conventions because I'm like, I do a lot of stuff, but like I was like, how can I not answer like what is my hobby? Anyway,
Baths are your hobby now.
baths are making me feel less lonely this week, and I think that's a real lesson for me because I'm a big picture person. I can always get big things done, but I lack an ability to enjoy kind of like the little moments in life, and I really need to do that, and that's something I want to work on in this new home. Nice. And having a dog has helped with that a lot. Well, as he eats the inside of a bunny rabbit. A fake one. Okay. Anyway,
I want to give you, so you should listen to Germs.
Okay, so I'm going to listen to Germs and
Yes.
Albuquerque, obviously, because you have such a love for it.
100%. And then Rosebud,
Okay.
she needs to listen to, there's a song all about horoscopes.
Oh,
and it's hilarious.
She's gonna love that.
It's like, that's your horoscope for today.
Okay.
And it's so funny.
Okay.
It's very funny.
I love that you came with specific assignments for us. I really appreciate that.
Rosebud for the horoscopes. That's
okay.
hers.
Is it called horoscopes or?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find it. I'll send it to her in Los Angeles.
I think it might also be on Running with Scissors.
Okay.
Maybe not though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, listen to some Weird Al. Rosebud is always at Rosebud Baker on all social media. I'm at Philanthropy Gal. What's your handle?
Oh, I'm at Via Vessel, VIA, and then Vessel like a blood vessel.
Hot. Yes. And do you have any shows besides, obviously the Me Also Showcase will probably be sometime in like October, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Yes.
No shows, but you can check out Olivia's Corner on YouTube.
Okay.
We have a few, again,
Definitely
because my
gonna do
boyfriend's an editor. I'm like very proud of these videos. They're
Yes.
very well done. Olivia's Corner on YouTube, and we have some other sketches under Squimblert.
Okay.
It's spelled how you would think it would be spelled.
Squimblert.
Squimblert. SQUIMBLERT.
Okay, I just
You
didn't
can
know if
find
it
us
was
on social media.
BLELE or BLU. That was my only
Right,
question.
it's
Now
an
we
E.
know. Bert, like Bert
Squimblert.
Kreischer. Okay.
Yeah. So we have sketches there, and then Olivia's Corner. So
That's really cool.
That's my stuff.
I love that. I love that so much. And guys, if you want to see us, me and Rosebud, we're going to be in Toronto at JFL 42. There are passes, and there'll also be single sale tickets. They keep adding shows, so I guess the ticket sales are going really well in Toronto. So if you want to get in on that, get in on that. Again, it's JFL42.com. We're one of the 42. It'll say Rosebud Baker and Corinne Fisher. So that's September 19th, 20th. 21st and 22nd, I believe, as of now, but that'll be a mix of shows. Some me and Rosebud co-headlining stand-up, and then some will be Two Less Lonely Girls live, which, as we mentioned, we're going to be doing like a star search. So if you want to be included on that, add us on Twitter or hashtag TLLG tips. And then we'll also be at the Rogue Island Comedy Festival in Newport, Rhode Island, which is October 10th. It's a Thursday. We're on day one of the festival. Such a good festival. I highly recommend you going, even if you can't see us. We're going to be doing Two Less Lonely Girls live there, I believe, as well. And then also doing stand-up. And then me, Corinne, I am going to be headlining Zanies in Nashville October 11th and 12th. It's a Friday and a Saturday. Late shows, 9:15 p.m. I'll also be at Levity Live in West Nyack, New York on... there's a date there. I think it's in October. I just posted something on my Instagram, so just keep...
I'm impressed. You're doing this all by memory.
Yeah, I was trying to... Well, I have a visual memory, so I was kind of like looking at this poster in my head.
When I listen to the podcast, I picture you guys like staring at a calendar.
No, we're
That's
really
just all off
we're
the top
so
of your head.
disorganized. It's hilarious.
Wow, no, that's impressive.
Yes, okay, so it's October 3rd is West Nyack, New York. That's in like the big cool mall, Levity Live, super fun. I'll be with Justin Silver for that. And then October 13th is my next residency date with Christina Hutchinson at Caveat in New York City. And that's that. I'll be adding some more tour dates probably because I haven't left my house. I just decided that I couldn't tour after touring for 2 years straight anymore. And so now I'm here, but I got to make money again. So pay that mortgage. It happens every month, apparently. So got to really prepare for that. Guys, thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful episode. And I got to say, you did a really excellent job.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me.
Of warming my heart to
Yay.
Weird Al. So yeah, you guys will hear from Rosebud next week with another member of Me Also. We have all 3 songs written, and stay tuned for more on that. Thank you so much. You can follow our producer, Mike Coscarelli, at Mike Coscarelli, and we will talk to you next Monday.